All right, we've got Michael and Akron. Thanks for waiting.
Hello. I wanted to ask, I have a nephew who's about 9 years old, and I recently visited them. The family actually lives in Austin, but they came up for the 4th of July, and I noticed some things in conversations where the parents are Christian, and I wanted to know how I could possibly be more of a positive influence for a different worldview, obviously an atheist one, than what the parents present to him without stepping on too many toes, if you understand where I'm coming from.
Sure, it's difficult. We have conversations about when does the state have an obligation to step in, and trump a family's right to teach and raise their children. I mean, that's a difficult line, and certainly when you're doing with family. I don't know, you probably got some stuff to contribute. My big thing is to be yourself and be positive, and to try to encourage an appreciation for discovery and learning about the world, how to tell what's real from what's not real, science type stuff, and trying to instill those values, I guess. I don't know if what you said.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, what is the meaning of truth, and I think that's relevant here, is that what I consider to be truth is whatever statement you make that is verifiably true. And if you can't show that it's verifiably true, then you can't call it truth. So when people want to propose a religious perspective, they have to understand that that is a belief. That's not a fact, and it won't become a fact until it becomes verifiable. Religion wants to assert it as a fact. And you have to hold your ground and say, no, not until you can demonstrate it. Until then, until you can show me that there's some truth to your position, there isn't. And obviously I take a very hardline approach. My own problem is I'm a bit of a hypocrite, because in my own family, I will have conversations that begin and end with someone in my family saying, well, we're a Christian. And that's it. The conversation ends. And it's never going to pick up after that point.
One of the things that actually prompted this question is that apparently recently he approached his mother out of the blue. It's the middle of summer, so he's not in school, so his friends haven't been influencing him, but he approached his mother with the questions about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and all of these things, apparently on his own. And I wanted to, one of the things that made me think about this was the fact that I wanted to encourage this young triumph of skepticism in his life and try to get him to go a little bit further and maybe ask those kinds of questions about Jesus, and I wasn't exactly sure how to do that.
I was taught conflicting philosophies when I was a kid. I was taught by the documentaries that I would watch about how the scientific method worked, or by it wasn't even science documentaries. I think it was detective shows about how to weed away the lies to reveal the falsehood. I don't remember what the colloquialism is for that. But at the same time, other influences in my childhood would be criticizing skeptics, criticizing people who did not readily believe the most preposterous claim, because those people were missing out on the glory or the wonder that the universe really was. So I had two very conflicting ideologies here, and I'm looking at the one that, how do we discern what is true? That was a choice for me, that this is the one that was more valuable to me, was to discern what is true.
And I'd point out that Russell's actually written some stuff on this, specifically addressing some of the processes I guess he used in raising his son. And also Dale McGowan has a book called Parenting Beyond Belief. It's not uncling beyond belief, but I think you might be able to get something out of it. Uncles and aunts are in a really good position. You get to be the cool quasi-parent who perhaps lets them get away with some stuff that their parents don't necessarily get away with it. And everybody kind of looks the other way, oh, I can't believe your uncle let you do that or whatever. It's being open to having conversations. For example, I have a niece and a nephew, and I don't discuss religion with them or atheism. I'm not even sure completely what they know, but their family, my brother and his family, they're Christians, and I had a conversation with my brother saying, look, if they come to me and they say, hey, Uncle Matt, why don't you go to church? I'm going to tell them. And then I'm going to tell them that they should probably go talk to you about it as well, because I don't want to disrespect and say that your parents are nuts and we'll because we'll play it up as, or explain it as a difference of opinion about something, because I think it's more important to teach them how to think than what to think. And so if you encourage the sort of tools that allow them to discover truths on their own, you know, I was a fundamentalist Christian for 25 plus years, and Aron believed all kinds of batshit crazy stuff, and we made it out. And so I have confidence that a lot of people will make it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another thing that sort of complicates the situation also is the fact that about 2 years ago, I came out to the family within a week of each other as atheist and gay, so I am the extreme black sheep of the family, so I'm kind of on eggshells a little bit to begin with. So I don't know.
Do they correlate these?
No, actually, fortunately they do not.
Which one was worse?
Atheist. Believe it or not.
No, I believe it. I hear that all the time. I've heard that from Jen. And I think Greta Christina and others have talked about it as well. That, you know, quite often your family might even have suspected for quite a long time, you know.
My father knew.
Yeah.
My mother did not, but my father actually took it way better than the gay part anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the atheist part, he disowned me within 5 minutes of learning, and then figured out that probably wasn't the best thing to do, and he came back and changed his mind. But yeah, it was definitely much, much worse.
I am glad that his humanity in that instance trumped his religious dogma. And
Yes.
that's the sort of thing, you know, one of the things, you know, the gay community benefited from having people come out. And the atheist community has benefited as well, because it's really hard to vilify an entire group of people if you know people in that group and you like them. You know, if you find out that your neighbor or that somebody that you've been playing cards with or having fun with, all of a sudden they're, you know, you find out they're gay or they're an atheist or something else that you might have otherwise had a prejudice against. It becomes very difficult to hang on to that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
all right, well, I will check out those books, and thank you for taking my call. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, Michael.
Bye-bye.